All right, let's talk about the Kanye West video in which he says he likes Hitler. He likes Nazis. Now, before I even get into this, I want to say right up front, there are people who are not in agreement with the things Kanye is saying, but are dismissing this as merely being a very public mental health episode, and that's the only thing, the only commentary, the only analysis that needs to be looked at. Ben Shapiro, right-wing commentator, is one of these people where he says, obviously, I don't agree with this stuff. He's Jewish, being Ben Shapiro, and he doesn't agree that Hitler was good or whatever. But that it has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with society or culture. It's just Kanye having some kind of mental health episode. It is clear from everything we have seen that there is a mental health component to this, but it doesn't matter in terms of the effect that this can have on people who already sometimes dabble in these sorts of beliefs, anti-Semitic beliefs, and who need very little to be pushed to the next level where those beliefs grow and grow and grow, and they can go, as we saw in the World War II era, from just ideas that crazy people say, come on, that's it, give me a break, into much bigger and terrible things. So let's not do the thing where we go, just a crazy person, doesn't matter. There's an entire movement. And by the way, this Nick Fuentes guy who was on the Alex Jones show alongside Kanye a couple of days ago are all the things he says also simply a mentally ill, a mental illness episode? Less clear. So let's just go right into it. These clips are literally beyond belief, except they're not. What I mean by that is, if I simply told you 6 years ago, hey, here's a thing that Kanye is going to say, nobody would believe it. But then now, of course, it's exactly the stuff that he is saying. Kanye West, Nick Fuentes, after their dinner with Trump, appearing on the Alex Jones show.
You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also.
Oh boy.
I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can love, us, and you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts,
right?
And you can love what we're pushing with the pornography. But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician, you can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good. And I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table.
Yep. And Kanye wants to fight for the value of talking about the good things Hitler did. Now, by the way, Kanye has no clue what he's talking about. He says Hitler invented the microphone. Most microphones in use today are thanks to James West, who was a black inventor, not because of Hitler inventing the microphone. It's completely outrageous. Here's more of this stuff, if you can believe it.
I've done a lot of study. I think Hitler was a really bad guy, and I repudiate what Hitler did. I understand that the British intelligence set him up and used him.
I like Hitler.
I don't like Hitler. And I know you're...
There you go. And look at Nick Fuentes with this stupid grin on his face. This is a big victory, folks. They've got one of the most recognizable, well-known black musical artists and celebrities generally saying, I like Hitler. This is a major victory for people like Nick Fuentes and the white nationalist movement. They are absolutely loving this.
Trying to be shocking with that.
I'm not trying to be shocking. I like Hitler. I do not. The Holocaust is not what happened. Let's look at the facts of that. And Hitler has a lot of redeeming qualities. This is the voice of Netanyahu.
Well, CNN says white people are evil Nazis. So, I mean, I disagree with both statements, but I get the pros.
I don't like the word evil next to Nazis. I think we need to look at...
And the Nazis, in my view, were thugs that shook people down, did a lot of really bad things.
But they did good things, too. We're going to stop dissing the Nazis all the time.
Okay.
I'm Netanyahu. I ain't never had a supermodel. Yeah, could tell. The Jewish media has made us feel like the Nazis and Hitler have never offered anything of value to the world.
Okay, well, why would the Zionists be killing Jews in mass in Israel with the poison shot?
Because they work for Satan. They don't work for God.
Exactly.
Okay. So this stuff is completely beyond the pale. I mean, it's beyond any analysis. You can't analyze it for its substance. And there's a moment which is sort of surreal where even Alex Jones tries to get Kanye to walk back some of his statements, and Kanye just doubles down even further.
I don't think Hitler was a good guy. I get the Hugo Boss uniforms, amazing. But I mean, just because you're in love with the design, you're a designer. Can we just kind of say like you like the uniforms, but that's about it?
No, there's a lot of things that I love about Hitler.
And look at Nick Fuentes grinning and nodding along.
A lot of things.
Wow, folks, this is what? How can we say this is a meaningless lone nut when there's an entire movement behind the guy? There are people who are behind these messages, and they're increasingly prominent. Nick Fuentes met with Trump. He had dinner with Trump the other day. And so it's really important that we not allow this, as sometimes happens with anti-Semitism. I've said it before. Some in the audience don't like when I point this out. We shouldn't have a different threshold for anti-Semitism than we do for other isms or discriminatory statements and claims and whatever the case may be. Okay? This is dangerous stuff. And when we talk about it, it's not about saying Kanye is the next Hitler. That's not at all what the analysis is. But it's important to remember that there were lots of people in pre-World War II era Germany who would say a lot of this rhetoric that's floating around about Jews and all the different things, it's just rhetoric. It's never going to go anywhere. It has no teeth. There's no way it could ever go anywhere. And when people assume that, that's how more happens. Now, you don't have to jump to the Holocaust. You can just go to, well, more societal acceptance of public shaming of Jews, for example, right? There's all these little steps in between before we're at the Holocaust. You don't have to go to that. One last thing here. There was just an interesting kind of moment where Kanye says that Trump actually loved Nick Fuentes at the dinner that they went to.
This is the future president you're talking to right now.
Is Nick your running mate?
He's not old enough.
Yeah, Nick, how old are you?
I'm 24. Maybe in a few cycles.
And Trump loved Nick. He looked at me, he said, "Where did you find this kid?"
Now that's interesting because that's exactly the type of language Trump would use. Where did you find this kid? Straight out of Central Casting, huh?
No idea until, what's the guy that wrote the speech that you didn't like?
Jason Miller.
Jason Miller lied afterwards after they found out who you were. And what did Jason say in the press to start off? Because it started to be like a series of lie after lie after lie and fake. It wasn't a tweet. It was a truth social after truth social after truth social. So give them the rundown on that.
Yeah, so initially, we didn't publish anything about the dinner. It was rumored that Ye went to dinner with Trump. Then it was rumored that I was at the dinner because I walked through the airport in Miami. Then there was a statement from Jason Miller, who spoke as a representative for Trump, and he said, well, Nick Fuentes was not at the dinner. And it was only at that point, which was a lie, it was only at that point when we began to respond. And Ye said, he can't say that. Nick was at the dinner. That was a lie.
But I mean, I actually like the speeches that Jason Miller wrote. Maybe.
Yeah. So Alex Jones still desperately trying to kind of keep some kind of bridge to Trump there to some degree. This is extraordinarily dangerous stuff. And sure, Kanye West probably mentally ill. Seems pretty clear. But we're not going to write off this entire movement, which, by the way, has been around for, thousands of years, and say, no, it's not meaningful, it's not important because Kanye is mentally ill. We're not going to do it. And by the way, you've got to see the reactions of some to the stuff that happened over the last few days.
I love reading. I read every day. No matter how I arrange my schedule, I never have enough time to read all the books that I want, which is why Blinkist has been such an important part of my life for years now. Our sponsor, Blinkist, is the app that takes thousands of nonfiction books, boils them down into an explainer that you can read or listen to in just 15 minutes, which includes all the most important takeaways from the book. With Blinkist, I can absorb the essence of 15 different books in an afternoon, so I can quickly gather insights from all sorts of perspectives, make connections, have those kind of aha moments that don't happen so easily, which is why I feel enriched when I use Blinkist. Blinkist also summarizes episodes of popular podcasts into 15-minute explainers. And with the Blinkist Connect feature, my girlfriend and I can share one account, share books, podcasts with each other, talk about them on the go. And don't forget, Blinkist makes the perfect holiday gift. My audience can try Blinkist free for 7 days and get 25% off after that. Go to Blinkist.com/Pacman. The link is down below.